Medaka is a religious loser who ignores all the world because of her religion. After ignoring the most beautiful girl in the school, obsessed with making him fall for her and break his vows, it all starts in a hospital where many children are born. It's so beautiful that Cleopatra would look like a sorceress. This made everyone fall in love with her because she looked cute in a field of roses, which caused her to receive this special treatment. Many years later, when she arrives at everyone school, greets her in a very friendly way, say Chad Maka, who is not under the charm of his good looks. This irritates her, so she tries to start a conversation to make him relax. He seems irritated and continues to treat her like a fly. Seeing how he is treating his goddess, the class simps get furious. My man doesn't give a damn, telling her there is a pandemic and give him some distance. This makes her reflect on her sexuality because he doesn't consider, and her pride begins to reach the power of a horse. So she leans to see what he's looking for on his, and sees that he likes the cat post. She assumes that he is a fan of animals and channels, acting like someone would be shocked at how stupid she looks, and even ignores her, while the class simps lose their sanity. He then tells her to stop talking to him, and she's paralyzed. Always received the attention of men, and this rejection makes her trying to make him fall for her. She hangs up some posters if he is a thigh lover, but this seems to give him a migraine, and she gets so desperate that she decides to show him the doors. Cover paradise, which he ignores, making her irritated. She tells the teacher that she doesn't feel well and asks her to go to the infirmary with the doctor. She turns into an artifact, and the idiot can't understand, asking if she's not feeling well. After assuring that the nurse will not interrupt them, she admits that he is the only guy who pushed, and asks if he likes her, questioning if she did something wrong with that him. She is taking the wrong and soon becomes a human kettle to release so she doesn't lose her breath. Drags him to bed, but slay, and she falls directly on him. When she sees his cold look, she doesn't understand why, and that his charms don't wanting to lower the guard. She sprays his two swords, causes a reaction in him, but his shyness almost makes him explode. He recites a few sentences to make blood flow to his main lower head, which irritates her even more, making her unbearable. She almost falls out of bed, but Medaka makes a charming princess move. But then he realizes that her hands are on his natural balloons, which makes him nervous. He returns to the room. Quickly moves away, says that she should hide for a guy who really likes her. The next day, her during red like a education class, Mona takes a hot yoga pose and invites him to work with her, but he ignores her as if it were a page of terms. She tries to find out how he uses her superior and inferior musculature to make him fall for her. And then she decides not to think about it too much, deciding to make him training. Exposing sensitive areas of her body, complains of being tired, but he blocks the female version of the behind the school where he is refreshing himself. After cutting him, she decides to refresh herself in the fountain, and suddenly notices that he is looking at her to provoke him in a laugh. This makes her nervous, making so he gives her hand. She turns red when she sees his sculptural body. As he walks away, some guys in his class stop him, saying that he is very rude to Mona. In the park where he tells them that he is a monk in a cat temple, telling how he grew up in a remote area far from, making the guys understand why he ignores Mona. The next day at school, she finds him to return his shirt, claiming to have gone through the tension it, and she plays with him, asking if he wanted her perfume on her, resisting her charms, and this irritates her. The next day at school, during art class, everyone chooses, and Medaka ends up being Mona's partner. Following her plan to make simp for her, she assumes different cute poses to get her sentences against making her heart beat faster, and Mona gets irritated because he is not giving the reaction, but she says she can't or doesn't have to model frequently, so she will do everything he says on this trip. The boys in the class go crazy. She keeps playing with him, saying out of poses, which doesn't shake him up a bit, which irritates her. However, and the whole class even she should use the art class to simp for her, and decides to use her poses. While looking for a pose to use, she remembers how shy he was, giving him an idea of what to do, but doesn't know that he is fighting to propose to her. Following this, she calls him and shows him a little skin, capturing the whole class while, and this seems to work on him, making him turn red like hot entering supreme virgin mode. He considers this part of his training. While the class is in course, she is disappointed that he didn't blink. Very busy being when he notices another girl looking at her, on drawing her to distract soon herself. Realizes that his eyes are fixed upon her, which makes her that he is drawing his neck, which he finds very hot. Meanwhile, she fights to keep calm because his idea of looking intensely at her neck makes her hot, and while she looks into his eyes, she gets to the bathroom to running from the room. She admits that him caught her by surprise and wants him to give her that attention all the time. At the library, the two meet at the same time looking for the same and immediately suggest reading together, seeing this as an opportunity to get closer to her invitation, walking away while fighting his demons of desire. While she is upset, she notices Haruno looking at her and wonders at the same time she will sit down with Medaka, still wanting to read the same book, extremely irritated by this, and Mona soon notices Haruno imitating Joe Goldberg on Medaka, nervous, which makes realizing that there may be other cute girls crushing on him. This makes her imagine them together, and she doesn't allow it to happen. She then changes her strategy, putting on a pair of glasses, a romance with T to seem nice and to him. He devours the look. She continues flirting with him, using her leg to touch his antenna, which makes him fight to keep the composure. Increase the pressure on him, she asks what he thinks immediately of her, moves away from her so as not to sneeze while she thinks her attempt at flirting failed. She notices Haruno looking that she is happy that he is not interested in her. The next day at school, Mona and Medaka meet on the roof of the school, and flirting with him, is having feeling totally confident that any boy in the world would fall for a girl like her. She realizes that she is too nervous to say she loves him. To figure out why she is so nervous, almost reveals to her the promised paradise. Her panic, while she avoids saying she loves him and runs away when she worries about the possibility of losing Medaka to Haruno. Class, Mona and Haruno are chosen to be committee, which irritates Mona. After that, they have a meeting to plan what their class will do at the school festival. Doesn't feel comfortable with how Haruno is relaxed, thinking he doesn't see her as a competition. Mona notices that Haruno is hiding her phone, what she is hiding, shouting that she shouldn't touch her. She soon discovers that Haruno has an absurd amount of photos of her. This makes Haruno panic, telling Mona that she doesn't see her as a stalker, and Mona says she is not bothered by Haruno explains that he has seen her at the entrance ceremony, so she took some photos of her from time to time. Mona comforts Haruno. She realizes she made a mistake before. She says she was talking about a fish and not about Haruno. Accepts her idea that she is interested, not listening to what Mona has to say at school. While everyone is preparing trying for the festival, to figure out where to get the necessary equipment for her class activities, saying that his sister is at which means they can borrow some of the necessary clothes. Mona notices that she has been talking Haruno and feels more comfortable with her. She notices Medaka making origami, and Hanoka whispers can show herself to Medaka at the festival, which makes Mona feel embarrassed. When she tries to clarify things, Hanoka walks away without hearing, has the wrong idea that she has a crush on Medaka when she just wants him to fall for her like the others. Takes Mona to see the clothes at the theater she is club. Excited because they can easily get clothes for her while activity. They see the clothes, Hanoka suggests that because they will look great but on Mona her. Refuses her request, and soon after mentions a popular school legend about a love saying bridge, that any couple who holds onto the bridge at festival will be destined to be bound by love forever. She continues to say how she is excited about the bridge, stating relationships started in the past, and says that she prays that Mona and Medaka can hold on clarify things. Someone calls her out of the room. Meanwhile, Mona decides that she can wear the clothes during the school festival and start experiencing them, feeling confident that he will not be able to resist. She wears a bunny uniform, which makes her a stage dancer, and thinks it's a little too much. Before she can take it off, Medaka enters, and she immediately tries to explain that she is testing the clothes and Medaka says that he is there to deliver some documents from the teacher. Well, he put the documents together to be able to leave the room, and to avoid more misunderstandings by turning Medaka to the closet to hide. Meanwhile, Mona becomes pale when she is trapped in the closet with balloons pressed against her chest, making her reconsider her prays for Hanoka to leave soon, as she is pressured against. And well, she tries to get away, but Medaka is busy fighting for her life with human hardware increases, while Medaka turns, and fortunately for them, Hanoka soon leaves the room. Immediately they run out of the closet, and Mona thinks that her low-body Wi-Fi has picked with her in the dark, but she is disappointed to see that he is in the mirror and realizes that she may have crossed him, letting go that she doesn't even look cute to comfort her. He says that she looks cuter than a basket of Papa dogs, touching her heart like a heart. And before leaving, he says that she is showing a lot of making the butterflies in her stomach go While crazy. She regrets being enchanted, Medaka regrets calling her cute, friendly as with he should not be. He tries to calm down by reciting his sentences. The next day at school, Mona arrives in the room feeling Medaka is finally flirting with her, so she greets her to answer her as if she smelled fish a week ago, which surprises her. On the day of the school festival, her class sets up a themed rabbit. The class does their best to serve their customers. Later in the kitchen, a classmate thanks Mona because she thinks a lot of she has attracted, and they start changing shifts, telling Mona she doesn't to take her trick, asking Medaka to take her, but he says he's fine without a break. However, she insists that he should have lunch with her because he must be hungry, and in response to that, he eats a request from a client to avoid going with her because she thought she had made any progress with him. Her response to her makes her feel rejected more than before. She assumes that he is just embarrassed by what he said to her. She gets rid of the feeling, deciding to solve during the festival because it is the perfect place, saying she doesn't want to cooperate. Rono orders him to announce coffee with Mona, and she thanks her for the help. The two go out to the school corridor looking for something to do together. Before Mona can suggest something, Medaka gets involved in the maze that they enter, even if she is scared. Mona gets excited, saying that maybe it ends up being scarier than she imagined. Medaka seems to be having the best time of her, so he gets scared and gets stuck in some equipment. So she grabs him to help her, and he gets nervous when he almost sees her area, which makes her embarrassed, making her run away. She decides to take control of the situation, and the two go get some candy. Meanwhile, she tries to act like a cute girl, miserably when a bird steals her candy, and Medaka doesn't care. Being discouraged by what happened, she takes them to a concert in an attempt because she couldn't see the stage where they were with someone else, feeling in her second attempt. So she tries to make balloon animals with him, but accidentally breaks. He is very focused on the result of his animal realizing balloon. That she is about to give up trying to find out crowd of couples at the Bridge of Love, and has the idea of taking her classmate fights in the kitchen and calling Medaka back while Asahi decides to leave the coffee. Meanwhile, Mona realizes that she is at the Bridge of Love and feels strange seeing so many couples when they see the two together. Everyone starts assuming that she is dating him, which makes Mona Medaka suggests that they go back to the room, but she has the idea coffee as coverage to be there, and he agrees. This with clarifies her idea everything to the crowd, and while she walks down the bridge with him, she tells him about the bridge legends who hold saying that during the school festival will be destined to be bound by Mona love tries to hold his hand, which scares him, so he quickly notices that he is healing, which makes her plays with him, but he tries to ignore her, so she turns to leave. Then Mona acts as if she had for him to pick her up and hold her hand. Instead, he picks her up like a baby, makes her shy, and he walks away like a boss. The festival ends and his coffee is doing well, but Mona is very sad to conquer Medaka worked, and Hanoko she orders Medaka to help her move some things. Later, while he moves chairs with Mona, is very sad that Mona, she feels that maybe she wasn't so one of her strategies had worked on Medaka. While she loses her boxes and before they all fall on her, he runs to save her. He holds her hand, and especially when she realizes that they are on the bridge of love, then gets up and starts organizing the boxes. He admits that he had fun with her before leaving, and hearing this makes Mona very happy. After school, they go to a bowling alley to play a bowling game. Mona hits a good shot, so she goes for a 5 as she approaches Medaka. She remembers when the bridges, making her turn red and sits next to him on the couch and starts to Medaka, then asks to drink the soda. She rushes to get it, and even when he says drunk a sip of it before, she doesn't starts drinking. And when the soda touches Medaka's heart starts beating faster. After playing with him, she finally drinks, and Medaka is completely red with shame. Mona says it's an indirect kiss, asking if he would like to drink. He has it in his hand, but he's fine and walks away. The next day, everyone appears wearing winter clothes. They look at Mona because she looks good in her sweater. Medaka doesn't care, so she decides to play he can hide in a sweater to warm up if he wants to. He says he can take the cold, but he continues to ignore her her, which irritates his friends, who call him from behind to say that he's being very rude to Mona. But he swears it's not on purpose, and then advise him to make an effort to be kind, saying that his temple teachings must have talked about being good to people, making him rethink his attitude. Upon returning to the classroom, Renoka also meets him and reprimands him for being telling him to be kind to her before leaving irritated. In the next class, he realizes that Mona was looking for them. He offers his books, which makes her super excited. When he tries to approach the wallet, he jumps away, annoys her a lot because she thinks she missed the chance again. However, his friends give him some tips on what to do, approaches her, apologizing because it was all very sudden, and this makes her very happy. Everyone decides to be kinder to her without falling in love. To wake up, Momo is not as happy as usual, and this makes her day a little more difficult. It takes longer to fix her hair. Her favorite shoes get wet. However, on the way to school, she sees the turning the wet path into her red carpet, and the sound of the rain seems to applaud for making Medaka open up a little. She sees him standing and takes the opportunity to approach him. Instead of a cold response, he forces himself to, and seeing that he is progressing, she asks him if he forgot the umbrella at home so he can use hers. He then explains that he actually gave to cover some kittens he found on the way to school, and that enchants her, but she moves the feeling away on the mission of making him fall in love with her. She offers her umbrella, which he almost refuses at first. He remembers the advice of his friends, goes against his reflexes, accepting which gives him a great boost of confidence. As they walk, she tries to go a little further, asking him to come closer. His shoulder was getting wet, but he says he's fine and tries to keep her distance, even when she approaches. After almost hitting a post trying to get away from her, he finally agrees to come a little closer, repeats his anti-sympathetic phrases to calm down. Mona feels she doesn't understand him, but decides to get arriving at the school. They follow a route through the academy area, as it is a shortcut to the classroom. And on she notices the female team practicing with Asahi, draws her attention, especially when dribbling. The opposing teams playing as Steph Curry. While they watch her, she gets distracted when falling she in front of her when she loses the ball. Hits Mona in the face, but Medaka prevents her. While everyone is still checking Asahi, she Mona to apologize for almost hitting her with the ball and reprimands her, telling her to watch higher platforms if she wants to see them play. While she is reprimanded for being so rude, Mona by the wrist before they can leave. She wants to talk to her, and after dragging her, she starts questioning her, asking what her relationship with Medaka is. Mona replies that he is just a classmate, but saying that she can't go to school with just a classmate under the same umbrella. Hearing this, Mona explains that they happened to meet on the way to school, and that he had forgotten the umbrella, so they used hers. This does not please Asahi directly, and she asks if they are going out, which Mona denies. This does not make her retreat, and she keeps asking if Mona likes Medaka. Friends quickly intervene, dragging before she loses her mind. While Mona is there, on the way back to the classroom with Medaka, she asks him if he says he doesn't know her, which makes her wonder why he was so interested in knowing about their relationship. As he goes ahead to change his gym clothes, she realizes that Asahi may be her makes her panic because she thinks Asahi may want to disturb her. While Honoka takes her photos of areas, she asks Honoka about she tells Asahi him that Asahi is the most first year, saying that she is beautiful and smart too, while showing him the articles written about her. This, other classmates join to confirm her, and this makes Mona panic at first. Since it would be a problem if a cat like that had feelings for Medaka, she assumes that she is just misinterpreting the situation. Doesn't even know the girl, to focus on making him fall in love with her. Someone calls Mona out of the classroom, is shocked to find Asahi outside, who says they hadn't finished the conversation. But immediately, Asahi sees Medaka. She turns into a stick, which confirms Mona's suspicions. When Medaka praises Asahi's basketball skills, her legs turn into cooked spaghetti, and she falls to the ground, exposing where the sun doesn't turn her face while repressing her thoughts. This makes Mona panic, since she knows Asahi likes Medaka. Asahi then tells Mona that she won't lose, which Mona interprets as a declaration of war. Mona gets irritated when thinking and her search to win Medaka's heart. This is a new feeling for her, since she has always been covered with affection by anyone before. In this, she sees Asahi spying on her classroom, and this bothers her. Soon after, Medaka finds Asahi at the door, immediately freezes and then fights to greet him. Before she can say anything, Mona moves faster than the flash to interrupt them, and she finds it irritating that Asahi can't even greet him the color of the bottom of her bikini. She then asks Medaka to come into the room with her, using her cute charms. This makes her run. As soon as he hears the bell, he tells Asahi to go back to her room while she moves away like a broken robot. The two sit in the room. Tries to remember Asahi's name, Mona, since Asahi left an impression later on him. Mona decides to cancel Asahi's making him see how amazing she is. Medaka shows how terrible he is at basketball. Mona slams him, showing that she is not beautiful face but also great at sports. After that, Medaka is in a hurry to she lost a throwing contest against her classmates. And while they leave him behind, Mona to practice the throws with her. She uses this opportunity to hit him, pressing her floating devices against his back, which sends signals to his organic antenna. And this leaves him standing on his feet. While things heat up, Asahi interrupts them, and Mona quickly explains that she is helping Medaka practice the throws. However, Asahi does not believe her and confronts her about Medaka. As Mona insists that she is just helping Asahi decides to join and tells Medaka to strengthen the abdomen. While doing this, he glimpses the valley hills of her chest, and this makes him nervous. When Mona sees why he is acting like this, to use the same tactics, and Medaka almost explodes. Not wanting to lose to her, Asahi Medaka prefers smaller inflatable castles, and his virgin brain can't take it anymore, making him freak out while the girls run. They went too far with him. The next day, Mona realizes that Medaka is not. His friends say that he was claiming that they saw him running from the gym the day before with his gym clothes. Hearing this, Mona thinks it's her fault, since they made him run from the gym to the rain and wet him while sharing the umbrella before that. Honoka then suggests that his friends visit him because they think a girl should go see him. And this gives Mona an idea. Asahi tells his friends that she feels guilty for leaving Medaka, she advises him to go see him and says that this would even see him in his casual state, which excites her. Mona follows Medaka's friends house as they go, intending to enter as soon as they leave. Without her knowing, Asahi has the same idea and finds this surprises Mona, who then asks if she doesn't discover her true intentions. In response, Asahi confesses that she wants to visit Mona. Asks if she has nothing else to do. She replies that her training was cancelled for the day, says that Mona cannot deny having feelings for Medaka. She even followed his friends to find out where he lives. She insists that she doesn't, that she shouldn't have a problem with her visit, since they are not dating, and Mona gets angry realizes that Asahi is serious about facing her. The two wait for Medaka's friends to leave and head to his door. When he opens the door, he is shocked to see, and Mona immediately takes control to enter to be able to take care of him. Nervous because he has never even had contact with a girl. And he says he'll be fine on his own. He can ask them to leave. Mona approaches his face to check the temperature, which actually makes his temperature rise. She says they can't leave him in that state and forces the entrance to take care of him until he gets better. Immediately enter a competition trying to see who can take better care of him, to prepare a meal for Mona to find out that Asahi is a horrible cook. Mona decides to make wearing a nurse's outfit that would make a monk's face takes a thermometer from his inventory among his twin pillows to check his temperature. This makes Medaka cry, giving Mona a boost. But Asahi counterattacks, wearing the doctor's costume he had brought, and then asks to check his breathing, which irritates Mona. After a long battle, Medaka faints from exhaustion. The girls admit that they had a good fight, deciding to let him rest. Asahi tells Mona to stop acting like a cute girl, but Mona says she's not acting and hits that she's no longer nervous around Medaka, which catches Asahi by surprise. Asahi says he hasn't fully managed to control it since he's competing with her. This makes Mona ask why she's trying so hard to get his attention. Asahi replies that he's doing this because he likes Medaka, who can understand why someone would fight so much for someone they like. That she would like to date him by saying that she wants to do the dirty dance of the hit. She comes back knowing why she mentioned this to her and decides to get a drink, telling Mona anything with Medaka while she's away. Mona approaches Medaka while he's sleeping to the bed, thinking about all this love stuff. Medaka sits in bed and hugs her hard, making her heart beat twice as he gets the drink. She remembers when her friend told her she fell in love with at first sight, and how she thought that was silly. However, she soon fell for Medaka and immediately fell madly in love with him. Which left her embarrassed since she was at when she once joked about the idea of love. Mona is still shocked that Medaka hugged and soon discovers that he is sleeping. After she lays him down on the bed, she remembers what Asahi said about strong desire to seal her lips, but long before their lips touch, In this, Asahi enters the room, taking her by surprise, and claiming that she suspected that Mona would make an investment. While Mona tries to realize that they are making too much noise, so she takes Mona outside and says having that Mona cannot for Medaka after what she just did in the room. However, Mona continued to deny her feelings for him, but Asahi insisted that she definitely has feelings for him. This pushes Mona to release her true plan to make him fall in love with her. Just because he doesn't flatter her like everyone else. After hearing what she had to say, Asahi realizes that she really likes Medaka, doesn't know she likes him, which makes her feel sorry for Mona. She still decides not to retreat, promising not to tell anyone what she said. While waiting for the class to start, Asahi claiming that she is worried about Medaka and wants to see him. In this, Medaka's friends ask why Asahi is in their place, and a random guy says that she is a friend of Mona's. Asahi mentions that they visited Medaka together, and also surprises Medaka to question him about it when he goes to the school. Meanwhile, Hanoka soon realizes that Asahi has become a rival of Mona's since she is getting closer to her. Soon after, Medaka arrives in the classroom, and Asahi immediately runs away. She remembers what Asahi said about her feelings and soon realizes that she can't keep her conversation even if she wants to talk to her. This goes on for a while she keeps apologizing to avoid talking to him. Eventually she bumps into him in the school corridor. Run away, she suddenly faints. Later, she wakes up and meets Medaka at the infirmary, and after telling her that she carried her since she was feverish, he thanks her for taking care of him. She leaves while she is embarrassed, thinking about how he could have carried her to the infirmary. The next day at school, while the boys are leaving, Medaka's friend nails a piece changing the wallpaper from the lock screen to a picture of a bikini hits him on the weak spot, and his friends hate him for not being resistant to dirty things. He then goes out to change the wallpaper, remembering training cannot have such things on the phone, so he must erase them. Meanwhile, Mona meets Haruno to leave, and the meeting is stuck when Mona asks what she is doing. She is sending a photo of Mona to Medaka. She has an advantage in her rivalry, claiming that Asahi enemy is her enemy too. In addition, she also does not want Asahi to get too close to Mona. She sends the photo to him. Will light something. This seems like a good plan for Mona. She asks to see the specific photo and she gets nervous when she discovers that looking at Medaka with hearts in her eyes in the photo. He has no idea that she tells Haruno to unsend it. Before she can do that, her battery runs out, making her panic and apologize for not having consulted her about the photo. Mona tells her not to worry, runs in search of Medaka so that she can erase her from his phone. She can't find him while looking for the school. Meanwhile, Medaka decides to take one last look at the photo. When she erases the phone, she needs to go to a more private environment. In this, Mona finally finds someone who points her in the direction he went. Medaka goes to the school roof to take a look before he can open the phone. Mona invades the place, his soul out of his body, and she tells to look at the phone, which makes him because he thinks she's talking about the bikini photo on his phone. While he's still freaking out, she takes his phone just and erases the photo girl on his lock screen. Before he can explain, she hands him with a gloomy face, which confuses him. And then she returns to the room, stunned by him using another girl as a lock screen. He realizes that she is irritated by him liking dirty things, but refuses to succumb to her, putting the photo on his phone, especially when the friend says that a boy's lock screen needs to be a pretty girl. This makes him send a selfie to him, thinking he would use it as a lock screen. Erases the photo and from repeats the phone, his anti-sympathetic sentences drives his friends while crazy. She is still irritated by him having deleted. Finds her with a sculpted telling Mona pumpkin. That someone gave it to her outside as a Halloween gift, and adds that he would like to have a photo of Mona in his Halloween costume. This gives Mona the idea of throwing a Halloween so that she can dress in an incredible costume. That will force the doctor to use its screen, and everyone agrees with the idea. When the doctor tries to refuse the invitation, his friends press him to agree. This makes Mona excited, but she still doesn't. What kind of costumes the doctor likes, so she suggests that they go out costumes so that she can get to know him better. The next day, the boys go to the meeting and while they wait for the Medaka's friends imagine how Mona would look in different clothes. This, Hanoka appears and asks for Mona, claiming that she said she was nearby. They see her walking with a magazine model, everyone commenting how dazzling she is. Meets them, and Hanoka doesn't miss the chance to take pictures of her. Medaka is so captivated by her to recite her anti-excitement sentences. While they are about to start shopping, his friend says he invited a companion, and Asahi appears, which surprises Mona. Medaka's friend explains that he invited her because he thought they were friends. He thought it would be fun to go together. Even if he didn't care a bit about Halloween, making Mona uncomfortable. Medaka approaches her, and she immediately changes her personality. Shortly after, Hanoka introduces herself to Asahi and tells her that she should take her place in Mona's life. Since she's been a fan of Mona for a long time, which when they start shopping, Asahi, Mona feels excited to find out, and the group decides to meet at the testers, after choosing what the girls like to try. After that, Hanoka invites Mona to try some costumes, and she has so much fun doing that she almost forgets her main goal. After Mona tells Hanoka to find her own clothes, wanders around the store looking for Medaka and sees Asahi looking confused about what to wear. Mona feels confident that she will follows her path, while Asahi's friend comes to her rescue. She would have trouble finding a costume, so she accompanied her to help her. She then takes her to try some costumes, but Asahi doesn't feel comfortable with most of them. They find a costume that interests her. Meanwhile, Mona finally finds the boys selecting and hears them saying that they can choose the costumes, but the girls have to take them seriously. After they select the costumes they like, they ask Medaka to make a choice, which is what Mona was expecting, but Medaka feels that it is being there is someone behind, but Mona hides better than a chameleon. He then goes back to select what he thinks, and Mona writes down what she thinks he chose, because she thinks like what a professional pole dancer enthusiast would use to work, and Medaka's friends can't wait to see what the girls will choose to wear. They start the parade with Hanoka, and after everyone finishes their presentations, Mona comes out wearing last. Shocks everyone. And although they think it's cute, it's so revealing that Medaka has to turn around to hide, which she interprets as him ignoring her. When she discovers that it wasn't the dress he selected, closes herself in shame, while the crowd asks to see more of her, saying that she wore it as a joke. While Medaka is still waiting for her excitement, and she then promises to never give up until he falls in love with her. Mona feels super excited about she selected the costume that Medaka chose, feeling that this will make her use it as a blocking screen. Later, she leaves. Meet the boys at the party, and Medaka's friend welcomes them. He informs them that everything has been prepared. He has arranged the guest room for them to change costumes. While Mona feels anxious to see Medaka pass. Before changing costumes, Asahi asks what Mona decided to wear, and she takes it out of her bag, asking Asahi not to mock her. Hanoka finds the dress cute, but Asahi is not impressed. She ends up choosing the dress that her friend chose. She then tells Mona that she would have regretted she had worn the mummy costume she initially chose, and Mona is happy for not wearing it. The girls change costumes, and Mona doesn't feel impressed, but Asahi doesn't seem to be bothered. Everyone is surprised when Hanoka appears with a ghost costume, asking why she didn't get her fairy costume. Then she explains that she didn't feel comfortable, so she went back to get something that could hide her face. When they leave the room, Mona realizes that she tells them to go ahead while she picks it up. When she picks it up, she realizes that her zipper is open to close it, but soon realizes that she wouldn't be able to do it alone. Comes back up after picking up supplies to decorate the corridors into Mona, who confuses her with Hanoka into the room without giving her a chance to explain. The female starts to panic and immediately tries to run away. But she is at the entrance saying zipper is open, asking him to close it. This drives him crazy, making him think that she is tempting him. He gets more nervous than Zendisu fighting a demon from the upper moon. At this moment, he realizes that she Hanoka, which initially confuses him. He realizes that she confused him when he discovers that he missed the chance to say that he is a guy. Create courage and closes while the zipper. He desperately represses his desires. After doing this, she thanks him. He is acting strange, so she opens his costume that he is having trouble breathing, just to see that it was Medaka. This scares her, and Medaka was the one who confused him with Hanoka. This does not calm her down, realizes that he just saw her naked. Mona ties Hanoka's costume to differentiate her from Medaka. Is having fun at the party. She focuses on the main goal of getting a Medaka would use as a lock screen. She then remembers how he deleted her selfie, and she says to herself that he does not appreciate how cute she is. At this moment, the host announces that where a girl and a guy will be paired, and the guys will have to mummify the girl, being the couple that does the best and most complete, adding that the winner wins a snack supplement. This gives Mona the idea that she could take if they won as a pair without it looking strange. They select the pairs by draw, and Medaka chooses number 8. Seeing this, Mona and Asahi run immediately to the box and go after the same number. Mona tries to convince Asahi to give up. She holds the ball stronger than an American quarterback, which scares Mona. Eventually, Mona deceives Asahi to make her, and this makes Asahi angry. Mona then finds Medaka, and although she has not represses her anger to be able to beat the photo, while Asahi is paired with any guy. As soon as the host signals the beginning, Hanoka takes a picture right away of Mona with Medaka feels very nervous and rolls the paper loosely on her, as they would lose the game if he didn't improve his performance. When she reprimands him for not doing it right, he gets upset by being so close to her body, the paper showing the shape of his body. Seeing that they are not progressing, she takes her role to show him how to do it. Medaka finds the game very provocative. After trying to keep calm even with Mona bothering him, he finally gives up, saying that he leaves. Then the game comes to an end, and they end up losing, as she can't take the photo she wanted with him. However, some other girls decide to take selfies with him anyway, making him uncomfortable, and Mona tries saying to herself that he would end up deleting her photos. She gets very jealous and runs to interrupt them, asking for a photo with him, as he gets tired of interacting and refuses her request, which destroys his spirit. Everyone gathers for a group and Mona still feels bad for not being able to take a photo with him, even though he tried so hard to look good enough to be her lock screen. And before the camera takes the photo, she grabs his shirt. The next day at school, Medaka tells her friends that because of what he did the day before, she explains what happened to them, reprimand him, advising him to apologize immediately. At that moment, so her friends tell him to take the chance to apologize. He's too coward to do that and runs away. Mona thinks that he's mad because of how she treated him at the party the night before, and tries to find ways to apologize. During class, she realizes that he's avoiding looking at her, desperate to fix things between them, and they somehow end up in the same task, giving her a chance to talk to him. While she's cleaning, she decides to call his attention, but with everything she does keeps making things worse. When she's about to give up, they both apologize, and Medaka clarifies things while Medaka is relaxing at home. He receives a photo of him with Mona, and instantly uses her as a lock screen, exchanges her back to the photo since he shouldn't have any woman in his space. The next day, Mona receives a text message from when she asks what she wants so early in the morning, that she's in the city, which cheers She immediately says that they should leave soon. Her friend says that she'll pick her up, but Mona refuses her suggestion. Later at school, while the boys discuss going Sahi is busy drooling over Medaka, and he soon notices her watching him, making her. She loses her identity in the process. Sahi complains to her friend about any progress, she gives him some advice on what to do, that she should steal a kiss from him. But this makes Asahi freak out. Medaka appears looking for Asahi, the class starts talking. He then hands over her identity, leave his friends before he asks if he has plans for lunch, suggesting that Asahi invites him to lunch for having returned this makes Asahi panic. His friends say it's her chance to steal a kiss, and he agrees with her request. Mona tells Hanoka about her best friend and how she's excited to have her around. She feels weird for coming to visit her suddenly during the school period. Asahi has lunch with Medaka, and she feels very nervous for being alone with him, although she feels like she's being fighting to stay calm, as she's never had lunch with a girl. To make it easier for them to interact, Sahid turns him into a brown, and she manages to talk to him better, which makes her happy. She then wants to be his girlfriend, and then she says she wanted to spend more time with him at the Halloween party. She keeps asking him to choose between candy and he's forced to choose mischief. So she kisses him on the cheeks, which is enough for her. After school, Mona runs to find her friend and finds her hitting she immediately dispenses them while they go out. She sees Mona for hitting on them without even seeing her. She gives Mona a gift from her hometown, which cheers her. Mona then asks if Tomo has a day off from to travel, but she doesn't give him a straight answer. She then judges Tomo for dressing very lightly, even and she says it's to win over some boys from Tokyo. While they talk, Tomo asks why she met her so far from her school. Says she doesn't like to mix her school life with the life of her Hearing this, Tomo realizes that she still remembers when all the boys from her old school kept inviting her to go out, that she would like to be as popular as Mona accuses her of having so many boyfriends. It was her way of consoling the guys that Mona had rejected. Tomo says he wants to date a boy from Tokyo. What the boys there were like. But Mona says she doesn't know, hasn't dated anyone yet, which after Mona remembers that she never had a boyfriend in her life. She simply didn't choose she could have anyone she wanted, and Mona says she never understood all these things about
Hearing
dating.
this,
Tomo mocks her for being so pure, but she slapped Tomo, saying that she never really fell in love. Tomo then asks if she's interested in someone. And Mona initially denies having someone, but Medaka soon appears in her head, making her cure. Makes Tomo understand that she's really interested in someone. At this point, Medaka appears out of nowhere, and he surprises her. Shore lives around there sent him to a task since he lost at rock, paper, and scissors. Not wanting him to meet Tomo, she begs him to leave quickly, but it's too late, since Tomo grabs him and starts rubbing himself on him, which seeing his expression, Tomo realizes that he must be the guy Mona is interested in. If she likes Medaka, winking, she denies Tomo decides to test her affirmation by asking where he likes to go in the city. Medaka tells her to dress appropriately, while looking the other way. She then asks him to help her since her hands are dirty from French fries. While he closes the zipper on his chest, rises and prevents the zipper from going up more. Emit sounds of happiness that almost make him explode. This irritates Mona, who interrupts them, saying that her request is ready. And after Tomo falls into a laugh, which confuses Mona. When they leave the cafe, Tomo asks if she likes Medaka, but she claims that he can see through her lies, since she is his best friend, so she leaves her. The next day, the teacher of the class announced that a transfer student would join them, and Mona is shocked to see Tomo in the classroom. Later in the class, the girls meet around her and she tells them that her father was to their city because of his jobs. When they feel sorry for her, she says that since she is not alone, her childhood friend, later keep while her company. Mona claims to have Tomo her threatens to expose Mona's and this makes her act in a friendly way Tomo, but she still has a bad feeling about her. Soon after, Cho appears with Kaido and introduces himself. And when they are about to introduce Medaka, says that they already met at the cafe. Kaido then asks if she knows Mona well, they have known each other for a long time, breasts to show how close they were. This makes Mona run away from the room. She reprimands Tomo for being so playful and explains why she is so interested in making Medaka fall in love with her. Tomo informs her that she is interested in him. Tomo gets irritated, saying that she must like rude faces. This makes Mona run in his defense, narrating how he has been kind. He is a very nice and cool guy. After she realizes what he said, Tomo promises to help her see that she likes him, and rejects the fact that she may really be in love with him. After that, Tomo tries to help Mona realize her if she wants to see him so desperately that Mona refuses to have such telling Tomo that she is being uncomfortable, which annoys her a little. At this moment, Sai, along with Manami, and Tomo doesn't hesitate to hug them after discovering about Mona's She then tries to introduce herself, but Sai moves away, saying that she doesn't like very intimate people. However, this makes Tomo hug her more, stating that he likes her spiny attitude. Minami examines Mona as a test object. When she asks if Minami is Asahi's friend, Minami introduces herself to Asahi that she planned to talk to Mona. Then Asahi frees herself from Tomo, saying that she needs to talk to her in particular. When they get to the terrace, Asahi says that if she hid a secret about their rivalry, reveals that she kissed Medaka, leaving Mona in shock while she moves away. She then bumps into Tomo, who was listening in secret. Mona realizes that she is not lying and or making understand why she is getting so agitated about it. Feels happy that this is happening, as it is an eye-opener for Mona. Later that night, Mona reflects on and is worried when she thinks that Asahi is dating Medaka. She feels irritated that he doesn't pay attention to her, think too much about saying that she said she gave him a kiss, and not what they were saying. After thinking about so many possibilities of why she says to herself to stay calm, since she only wants him to be part of her admirers, no matter if he dates her or not. But this really bothers her when she imagines them together. The next day, the group meets at the train station. Kaido makes a call, realizing that some of them haven't arrived yet. Mona appears looking like she couldn't sleep well, thinking about Medaka, and after exchanging she decides to focus on preventing Asahi from investment in Medaka that day. Seeing how agitated she is, Asahi feels a little guilty, as she knew it was because she mentioned the kiss. She blames it, deciding to win Medaka no matter what. At this moment, Medaka arrives with Tomo, which surprises everyone. Explains to his friends accidentally that he found Tomo on the way to school. Mona can't stop looking at his lips. She is distracted. Asahi goes to talk to, which leads Mona to run. And Tomo predicts that if things go on like this, the chances of Mona being with him are small. So she helps her friend by taking them to a place she calls the Cradle of Love. When they get there, Everyone seems excited, who continues to interpret everyone's actions. She also can't get Medaka's lips off her head. While she is distracted, Manami suggests that while Asahi gets the tip to ask Medaka to go with her, since she will be afraid. Seeing this, Mona notices their plan, but she can't ask him to go with her, since she is not ready to be so close to him yet. When the other guys try to make peace, Manami finds a way to get them off her, and Tomo soon notices Asahi's so she says she is too weak to walk on the roller coaster, to go twice so he can go with her. After he agrees to this, Asahi drags him. Tomo asks if she liked the help, but Mona says she has no idea what she did. Asahi tells feel better if he holds her hand, but just before they start the ride, she was not really afraid and just wanted to be with him. Meanwhile, Mona desperately looks for them after the game ends. She is worried to see Asahi looking happy. After that, the two enter the toy, and before the main Mona part of the ride Medaka if he fell in love with Asahi, and he says asks if she has feelings for someone at the moment, but she doesn't leave answer. The toy, everyone notices a strange atmosphere around Asahi, realizing that something happened. At that moment, the girls decide to take some pictures and then take another one while making peace with a guy. Seeing that everyone is distracted, Tomo tells Medaka to get some snacks. Mona is sad for not being able to do anything she was with Medaka. By surprise by his question. Then arrive at the food stall, says that there is a special promotion for couples. So the two decide to pretend the guy asks them to kiss each other. They are a real couple, which makes them nervous. However, Mona prepares and holds Medaka, although they seem too close to put their lips together. Mona pulls at the last minute, and Medaka is relieved by this. To the group with the snacks, and Mona decides to continue making movements because there is still time. However, Asahi realizes that she is progressing and decides to improve that she stays with Medaka in all activities, which irritates Mona. Tomo consoles Mona saying in the women's bathroom. Is totally taking her focus away. Wants Mona to be more aggressive. She also adds that Asahi is obviously her rival. When Mona tries to deny it, Tomo just smiles when Mona used to pretend a lot in high school. She had a romantic interest when she never had any Tomo interest. Then adds that Mona cares too much about what and ends up hiding who she really is. That she is very greedy. People to like her more than they already do. She also says that people would like her if she were herself, and that it is refreshing to see her acting naturally, asking her to give him a chance so that he has no regrets in life. After that, they both return to the group. While thinking about the next activity, about the conversation she had realizing with Tomo, that Tomo was always looking at her from the beginning. She said to take off her mask, which makes her nervous when she thinks that Medaka saw her mask. She gets rid of these realizes that she has lost sight. She decides to call Tomo, but her causing her to scream as if she had been possessed. That she can't get in touch with anyone, to sit down and wait. Soon strangers start making fun of her. Meanwhile, the team gets nervous when they find out and they can't get in touch with her by text or call, making them wonder if their phone died or was stolen. They decide to split up into groups, and Sari says she's going to follow Medaka, telling her to stay away because she's eating at the moment, which makes her sad. On the other hand, Mona refuses the guy's request, but they forcefully drag her, inviting her to go out with them, which increases her anger for not being with Medaka. Then Medaka appears, telling them to stop, and Mona runs to find him, her boyfriend, while he uses his hockey observer to scare them. She then thanks him for saving her and explains that her phone he's about to get to the others, his phone breaks just like Monika's, which scares them. He suggests that they look around to find the others. Being alone with him makes Mona very nervous. And as they walk, she notices that the giant wheel ride caught her attention. Asks if he wants to go up, he pretends he's not interested. Mona decides to take giant wheel as a reward for defending her earlier, even feeling nervous for being in a tight space, but gets ready and rides with him. Even when she feels a little nervous, she gets angry when she sees him having her reflection and is shocked by the sincerity on her face. Realize all the time she left her low guard in front of Medaka. She immediately realizes that Tomo was telling about her feelings for Medaka, but still tries to deny that feeling. Medaka sees a show going on the floor, and when she gets up, loses her balance, almost kissing him. She immediately moves away and sees her embarrassed, making her hide her face, feeling embarrassed, asking herself why she seems to be in love. So she says she doesn't look pretty at that moment. Medaka says that sometimes she acts strange, which however he quickly explains what he meant. Her different facial expressions make his heart race, which irritates her. This makes her realize that she only gets nervous when Medaka calls her pretty. The possibility of being in love, since she should be the one who enchanted him. Desperately denies having feelings for him, but when she sees his bright smile, that she is in love for the first time in her life. The two meet the rest of the group. And are they so happy for her to be okay? However, Cho reprimands Medaka for not calling at the right time. That his phone broke. Meanwhile, Mona tries to tell Tomo about her new Asahi appears behind her, and this leaves her calm. Tomo and Asahi notice that something is wrong. Tries to decide what to do. Says she is not feeling well and asks to go home. Everyone agrees to end the day and plan another outing at another time. She feels very bad for cutting her fun time. They assure her that everything is fine and make sure everyone had fun. Home. Tomo asks because he noticed that something was wrong and his assumption is correct when Mona trembles when mentioning the name of Medaka. Opens her heart about her feelings and tells everything that happened while she was with him. Mona meets Asahi. Although she feels bad for denying her feelings, finally reveals this to Asahi, hoping that she is in love with her. However, Asahi is as calm as ever, that she will not lose, which surprises Mona. And while the two go in opposite directions, she also tells Asahi that she will not retreat. The next day, Mona wakes up with a fever and also feels because confused. Now she is in love with Medaka. Later, she calls Tomo to keep her company, complaining about being alone. Tomo plays with her, saying it's because she wants to be with Medaka. Mona denies her accusations. So Tomo sees Medaka. So he decides to test his theory and tells Mona that he wants to give him the phone. This makes Mona nervous, looking like a disaster. Tomo gives her some time to get ready while Medaka to the roof and hands over the phone to talk to her while she goes to the bathroom. Although it seems strange at first, the two finally generate a vibration to talk to him, to be able to be in a relationship because she could have moments with him all the time. Then her mother broke into the room and she hid the tablet showing in her promise of land, and that made both fall. The next day, when she is fully recovered, she hurries to school to see Medaka, fantasizing about dates at the cinema and holding his hand on the beach. Arriving at school, everyone is happy. They guarantee that she is feeling well. She sits next to Medaka and tries to herself that she will do it before she can greet him. He says good morning, and this sends a Cupid's arrow straight to his heart. When the class is about to start, falls to the ground and his hands touch it. This makes him nervous and immediately move away, apologizing to her. Meanwhile, his brain turns off for a minute and she suddenly runs away from to make him her boyfriend.